be a millionaire in a week or two. I'd be doing what I love and loving what I do if I could make a living out of loving you.
We grew up neighbors and he didn't know it.
Early every
Golden
morning
Triangle
when the
Boys. I
sun
tell you what,
comes up, I'm
you could do a who's who in America of Golden Triangle Boys. Football players, head coaches, singer-songwriters. Clay Walker is our guest.
Hey, Michael, how you doing?
Glad to have you in, bud.
Miguel Berry.
Glad to have you in. How are you doing?
I couldn't be better, man. It's so good to be back in some warm freaking weather. I've been freezing to death, traveling and being in Nashville, single digits. You know, it's just good to be back home.
How much time are you spending on the road nowadays?
A lot, more than people know. We try, still tour a lot.
Do you?
And, I'm putting out my first record in the next, probably about 6 to 8 weeks it'll come out. It's been 3 years since we've had a record out, so I'm ecstatic to have that out.
And tell me about this one.
Well, it's really current, you know, with what's going on today at country music radio, which is a change. And I was telling some folks, they go, man, we sure miss the 90s sound. You know, they were talking about that. I said, you know, the traditional country music is dead. You know, it died the night that George Strait won Entertainer of the Year. That book ended it right there. He's the greatest, you know, to me, traditional singer of our time. That was kind of like, I think, the industry's way of saying, thanks a lot. Here comes the new stuff.
Speaking of which, I would be remiss if I didn't do this. My friend Brian Blom, who runs the Stafford Center, said he watched you on Fox News this morning, and he said, Michael, he said that his favorite singer of all time is Merle Haggard, and we got Merle Haggard April 1st. You've got to get him at this show. So I've done what I was required. Did you say that? Merle Haggard's your favorite?
Merle Haggard is the best singer that ever lived, of all time, of any format. And I don't say that because I love country music. I'm saying it because I'm a singer that understands singing, and the guy is the best that ever lived.
Could George Jones at least be number 2?
Well, George Jones is definitely right. I mean, you almost can't separate them. You know, it's like cake and ice cream. You got to have them at a party and a birthday party. You can't really separate Jones and Haggard, but you could take either one as the preference, I guess. But I like the versatility of Haggard. He could have sang opera if he wanted to.
What's your favorite of his songs?
The Way I Am. I mean, I know all of his songs, but you know, he's just one of those iconic guys that really earned it. And it's not, you know, it wasn't hype. It was just pure raw talent, and he didn't have a machine, you know, pushing him to be, you know, for propaganda and stuff. This guy is the deal for sure. Well,
and I think having grown up rough the way he did, you know, a lot of those guys, that informed a lot.
Yeah, I
of
read his biography. You know, he was a colorful character. Yeah. And hell, George Jones was too. You know, I grew up in Beaumont and Vidor, just down the road from you at Orangefield. You're kidding me?
Yeah, no.
You kind of look like an Orangefield guy.
Really?
Yeah.
You know what, Clay?
You got that grimy look about it. You got that little grimy.
I spend an inordinate amount of time saying that when people hear Vidor, I'm tired of hearing them giggle or tell stories.
I heard that about you. I heard that you said that.
I defend Vidor on air. And people will go, they say Vidor and they laugh, and I go, let me tell you something. You want to find a racist, I can find you one in Deer Park or River Oaks. There are good, honest, decent people that live in Vidor. Working class people, entrepreneurs.
I didn't grow up around racists in Vidor. I know that it used to exist, or maybe there's some but man, not with the generation I grew up in.
The worst thing you can say about Vidor, and you were part of this problem, is you never had a decent football team.
Did you say I was part of that problem?
Weren't you a wide receiver there?
Yes.
But did you play?
Punt return. Hey, my junior year, we were really good. You kidding me?
No, you were not.
And I also went to South Park. I say really, we missed the playoffs by a game. Okay, I mean, but our senior year, we were horrible. But I also played football at South Park High School.
Did you go to school?
I played quarterback at South Park. It's probably got some of my buddies listening right now.
The Greenies.
That's right. That ended up turning into Westbrook. Norman Absher, which is one of my coaches back then. Coach Henschel. They actually came to see me play at the Woodlands a couple of years ago, and the whole football staff came out from back in the day. I couldn't believe it. It was so cool. And Coach Henschel, who's I think about 80 years old now, said to me, he goes, you know, he said, you sure look a lot better standing up there than you did on your back on the field.
Well, y'all were in a bad conference. Y'all were in a conference with some guys that could really play ball. I mean,
yeah. Oh, absolutely.
There's a lot of pros that came out from those years. Bo Brown used to work with us till a few weeks ago.
Oh,
I know Bo grew up.
Bo played linebacker there. He was a ladies' man. Yes, you know, he had all the girls. He was a year ahead of me. Is he still fat, or did he lose a little weight?
He's like me. It comes and goes.
Yeah,
he still plays rugby. Gets a knee surgery every 2 years.
I wouldn't say that if you told me he still worked there. He'd probably walk through that wall.
Let me tell you something. He's twice your size. He is big. He's still big.
I love Bo. He was a good person, always smiling. You know,
Yep.
and even after we met up after school years later, you know, I just were really good. A lot of good people there, man. And you know, this town right here is seriously the coolest town on earth. There's a lot of guys and girls that made it by their bootstraps that live in Houston, Texas. And
how much time you still spend here?
well, I've spent most of my adult life here. Well, since I was 22. So how many years is that? 22 years. So I've been a Houstonian more than I've been anywhere else. So yeah, I love it here. I love the folks, and of course, there's a lot of folks here that move from Beaumont, you know, Port Arthur area here, and from the other directions. This is a great place to do business. And
You still have your place in Hempstead?
My ex-wife has that place, and my girls.
I apologize. So you're still
our
paying for
girls
it.
still live there, which is great. I have a couple of ranches now that one here and then one in Tennessee, and also a beach house down in Galveston. But I mean, Texas is still on my driver's license, if that makes sense.
Yep. You love touring? You still enjoy it?
I do. You know, I don't know. There's a lot of people that do it because they have to. I do it because I love it, and I enjoy performing. We still have big crowds show up at our shows and still love our music. And there's this new music that we're doing right now. I'm curious to see how people are going to receive it. I think they'll love it as much or more than anything we've ever done. It's very new. It's very fresh. It is not traditional sounding. There are some, you'll know it's me, but it's definitely more with what's going on in today's market.
Is it tough when folks, they want to hear those original hits. They want to hear the early days stuff, and you go, all right, I'm going to do some new stuff.
Yeah, I mean, George Strait just had a #1 hit, though. I mean, what's George, 62 or 3? And, he did a very, very slow.
I asked you a question too late in the set. Hold on just a moment. Clay Walker is our guest, and he's going to tell us about the Band Against MS ride this weekend in Houston to raise money for MS. We're talking about that coming up